Hello guys, I hope you are well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're taking a look at this, the GH-Pro2 geared tripod head from Sunwayfoto. So if you watched last week's location video from the wonderful Lake District National Park, you'll have seen me testing this head out, and that's something I'm always keen to do before I give my thoughts on a piece of photography equipment. I think you only really get a proper feel for something like this after using it properly. You know, testing it out in the environment in which you intend to use it. So yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. I should also point out that Sunwayfoto did send me this. However, I've been using their DB44 bullhead for several years now, and I've been thoroughly impressed with that. And this is a product I would have purchased anyway. So a big thanks to Sunway for supporting what I do here on YouTube. So let's take a look at what this GH-Pro2 geared head from Sunway is all about. Firstly, let's take a look at the specs. So this head is mainly made from aluminium and has an overall height of 125mm or 5 inches. The overall load capacity for this is 4 kilograms. The head has 4 movements, 2 that are geared and 2 that are friction dampened. The 2 geared movements are controlled with these large knobs that control the lateral and fore and aft motion. The lateral tilts to 40 degrees and the fore and aft tilts to 90. This head has 2 panning motions, one at the base and one just underneath the mounting plate there. Like I mentioned before, both are dampened, which offers a nice fluid movement, which is great for video work or fine-tuning your composition. Should you need to change your composition quickly, the 2 geared movements have these crank handles, and you can flip these up for fine-tuning. The quick release clamp is Arca Swiss compatible, which is always something I look for, as I like to keep all of my gear universal where possible. The overall build quality is wonderful. It really does feel like a solid piece of equipment, and the movements are solid and accurate too. To help keep the dust and dirt entering the head, it comes with a nice neoprene cover which cinches up around the neck of the tripod to help protect it from the elements when not in use. Also in the box are a set of Allen wrenches should you need to tighten anything up in the future. There's a couple of links in the description as well if you fancy checking out the current prices and more specs about this geared head. So let's take a look at how to use this head then. So firstly, we're going to need to attach an Arca Swiss quick release plate or an L bracket to the bottom of the camera. I prefer an L bracket with this setup as it makes swapping from landscape orientation to portrait orientation much easier and quicker, and will also help to keep the camera central should I be taking a panoramic image. Most L brackets are camera specific. This one here fits my Fuji X-T3, and it also makes the grip a little bit chunkier on this one, which definitely helps with the ergonomics for this particular camera. I like to adjust the base panning to suit my tripod configuration, and this will obviously vary depending on how I've got the legs positioned. For the most part, I've got one leg pointing straight out to the front and 2 either side, and this lets me stand closer to the tripod and helps with weight distribution as well when I've got the telephoto lens on. This isn't always possible though, especially if the terrain's a bit rocky or you've got some legs in a river or something like that. So the base panning can quickly get the head facing in the right direction. These clamps on the base and top panning movement can be repositioned by pulling them out and rotating them. Now, I'm sure there's probably a name for these, but off the top of my head, I can't think of what they could be called. Let's say quick adjustment movable knobs. That will do. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, this allows you to reposition them if needs be. Having a top panning section means you can pan the camera from side to side without altering the position of your lateral fore and aft knobs once you're all set up. I think this is a really cool feature. The lateral fore and aft dials allow you to fine tune your composition in a really controlled manner. It really does give the user a very precise movement, which can be very rewarding, if you like spending time composing a shot. On top of the quick release mount, there is a bubble level which can help to level up your tripod when setting up. This is also great for panoramic work as well. The more level you can get your tripod for panos, the easier it will become to stitch them when you get back to post-production. If you don't have an L bracket like I've got here and wish to shoot in portrait orientation, then you need to rotate the base panning by 90 degrees and then drop the fore and aft angle down to 90 degrees. Obviously, this is a little bit time consuming and also throws the camera well off center, but it can be done if needs be. Generally, if I'm shooting a pano with a telephoto lens, I'll have the collar adapter fitted to the lens, and this helps to balance things up. But it also allows me to switch the quick release plate around the side. Now the clamp is secured from the side, I can see the bubble level, which helps massively when shooting panos. This can only be achieved with an Arca Swiss plate that is attachable on all 4 sides. This one from Peak Design, which fits the capture clip, works really well. And as you can see, it's the same on all 4 sides, which allows me to attach it both ways, which is really, really helpful actually. Before we get on to the likes and dislikes, who is it for? Who's this head for? Well, one of the reasons I was keen to try this head is because I shoot 4x5 as well as my digital gear, and this really helps framing up the composition. Because the 4x5 is a lot bigger, it's really difficult to use a ball head. You tend to get a lot of movement just from little tweaks. So it will definitely help when I'm shooting with my 4x5. But having used this for the last few weeks, I can honestly say it massively helps my digital landscape photography too. Now I guess I'm the kind of guy that likes to take my time when I'm out shooting in the landscape. I like to enjoy the moment, soak in the great outdoors and just chill. And for that reason, it really suits what I do. If, however, you prefer a more fast-paced approach, a more responsive approach, then this is probably not going to be for you. I think it definitely suits photographers that prefer a more methodical, considered approach to their photography. I also think it would be perfect for architectural photographers too. So let's get on to some likes and dislikes. So likes, well, there's quite a few. I love the build quality and the fine-tuning movements are a joy to use, they really are. I love these crank handles, you can flip them out and reposition them. It's great how they fold away too. It's great how the camera is positioned centrally over the center of the tripod. I've noticed on other heads how the camera is to one side. I wouldn't really be keen on that. I do have a couple of dislikes though. Firstly, I wish the position of the bubble level was in a place where you could actually see it. As soon as you put your camera position on the clamp, it hides the bubble level, which seems a bit pointless to me. It'd be great if it was positioned in a place we could see it all the time. I also think there may be times when I need to tilt the camera beyond 40 degrees on the lateral movement. To do that, you need to swing the base panning around and reconfigure slightly like you would if you were shooting portrait orientation. But I guess that's the compromise with this type of head. Both of these dislikes though are only tiny little niggles and really are a result of me trying to put out a balanced review. So definitely not deal breakers whatsoever. Overall, I'm really enjoying using this geared head from Sunwayfoto. If you fancy checking out me using this in the field, please be sure to take a look at last week's video, which is an on location video. I'll leave the link for that below. Before I go guys, I'd just like to say a massive thanks to everyone who supports what I do here on YouTube by sharing, liking and commenting on these videos. That really does help me out a ton. If you fancy getting more involved, please be sure to check out my online photography club, which is linked over here and down in the description. Anyway guys, until next week, stay safe and take care, and I'll see you soon.